mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year. And they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets.
You said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's two of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to The Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. Of course, playoffs are happening right now, but when we were talking about the Cavs, Austin, I had this idea of just kind of like we were talking about Rick Carlisle, and then Rick Carlisle and Jason Kidd are, of course, tied. But who gets fired first, Nico Harrison or Jason Kidd, Austin?
I think Nico.
Really?
Yeah, I think Nico.
Okay.
I think if we're talking fired, I think if it's like a mutual, like Jason Kidd doesn't want to work for the organization anymore after what happened, I could see it. But if we're talking fired, I think the team knows the harm that Nico has done despite obviously getting the first pick. So I would say that Nico gets fired first.
Okay, I'm on the opposite side. I think Kidd gets fired first.
That's because of play, or is that because he doesn't want to be there? Because, like I said, if I think he could decide he doesn't want to be there anymore because he's lost faith in the organization. But if we're talking fired, I don't think Kidd would get fired first.
So I think fired first, I go Kidd. Because if Nico isn't fired now, when? And to me, I think Kidd would be fired first. And I could understand if Kidd left, I wouldn't say that was fired, but I don't think he leaves because I think Kidd loves defense. Nico loves defense, of course, and they're sort of tied to each other at the hip, but I do think Nico would throw Jason Kidd under the bus so he could keep his job.
Yeah, but I don't know I think Dumont understands a little bit regarding how the fans feel about Nico. So I feel like if there was ever a time where the Mavs really struggled next year or the year after that, I think Nico would be gone beforehand.
You make a good point. I do think Dumont understands a little bit. However, I think he still trusts Nico because the whole reasoning was, Nico made some moves at the trade deadline. That's how the Mavs got to the finals, which is partly accurate, but he is missing the main equation of Luka, and he's going to be like, well, okay, the fans got upset, but look, we got the number 1 draft pick, and we're winning because we have this. I trust Nico. And Nico would just be like, hey, we need a new guy to coach Flag, so we need to get rid of Jason Kidd. He's not really energizing the team. We need a tactician. Because Jason Kidd's more, I would say, like a motivator, or he's more of like a vibes guy versus X's and O's. That's not really his point because compared to Rick Carlisle's more tactician, developing an offense. So it is really interesting, though, because I wouldn't fire Jason Kidd first. I would fire Nico. Just because how can you judge Jason Kidd as a coach after this with a bad GM, I would say.
I think that's fair, but at the same time, I just don't think that Kidd could be fired first without major backlash because I feel like some fans, while you obviously don't have the greatest love in the world for Kidd compared to some other guys, the fans remember what Kidd did during those 2 runs to the conference finals and the finals. So I think it'd be really hard to let him go before Nico. Maybe at the same time, I could definitely see that, but I don't see Nico getting hired or fired before him.
Yeah, as much as I dislike Kidd, I would say it'd be a bad move to fire Kidd first. The problem is I just
at least what's it called? What's it called? Man, lost the word. Like towards the fans. Like it starts with a P, but I
Appease?
can't.
Are you thinking of
No,
appease?
no.
Please?
It's not. It's like press, but it's not press. But it's just not. It's not good for the organization. I'm not talking about like on the court, off the court wise. It would be worse still to hire or to fire Kid first because
Are you thinking of perception?
no, I'll get it probably after we
No.
record or maybe in
Yeah.
the next video or something. But when it comes to what the organization is viewed as from the fans, firing Kid first would feel like backstabbing what that he did for the organization because the fans know that he was there during their good runs and he really did help them throughout Luka's tenure. He's really, I know there's players that play with Luka, but I think Kid is also viewed as like one of the last, like as long as Kid's on the team, Luka's on the team, like you can convince yourself that he is, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. There's still a remnant of the Luka era.
The way I'll explain it, and this is a different scenario, and this is only a okay example, but whenever Judge plays center, he does the Brett Gardner. He does it's not really a dance, but he does. He like goes down one knee and kind of flexes his muscles like Gardner used to do every time towards the fans whenever they did the Yankee chants. But Judge is a huge Gardner guy. He loves Gardner. Obviously, I do as well. But he does that. So every time he does it, I'm like, that's Gardner. That's why he's doing it. So Judge, as long as Judge is on the team, he'll keep doing that when he plays center, and therefore Gardner stays alive in the clubhouse because of that. And so as long as the guys who have played with Luka for a while or coached Luka in Jason Kidd's case, you can at least convince yourselves during some times that his presence is still on the court with you.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And yeah, I would signal a different era, I would say. It's just to me, I don't see how, because I don't trust them focusing on the public perception. I think they're just like, whatever, like they'll come back. Because that kind of is what is happening, and I'm not discrediting people coming back. It's just like I have to think from the Dumont level. It's like, well, I got my money back. I have my value back with this. I can sort of still run the show similarly. So it's just I feel like Nico has a stranglehold on that decision making, and he could talk his way out of getting fired and just go, no, we actually need a coach. But I do think the best would just be clean house with both. However, I do feel like Nico has that way where he could.
I think it'd be better for like the fans to fire Nico first.
It would, yes, absolutely.
But I think at bare minimum, you fire them at the.
I would fire Nico right now. Just get a new guy. He'll draft Cooper Flag, then he can figure everything out. But I would also love Budenholzer as coach. Man, that would be awesome. But yeah, so it's really tough because I'm wondering who would go first, and I think the logical answer would be Nico, but I don't think there's anything logical right now with the Mavericks.
Sure, we'll see. I still think that Nico would be fired first, at most the same time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders' Opinions.